Hello, this is Arlington High School's debate show, TigerClash. I'm your moderator, Jake Stoop. Each month we bring in two of your fellow students to debate a certain topic. Welcome to the 6th episode of TigerClash. For this episode of TigerClash, we're going to hit on some entertainment topics. Joining me today are Mia Palmer and Kate LeBaron. The first round of debate is going to be on the Will Smith and Chris Rock Oscar incident. Let's take a look at what happened.
Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right? that was a nice one. Okay. I'm out here. Richard. Oh, wow. Wow. Will Smith. Okay. That was a greatest night in the history of television. Okay.
I assume most of y'all have seen that video, but before we start, we're going to introduce ourselves. So Mia, tell me a little bit about yourself first.
I'm Mia. I'm a sophomore. I'm in Knowledge Bowl, and I'm the president of the Environmental Club, and I play piano.
Okay. What about you, Kate?
My name's Kate. I am a junior. I am in Speech and Debate Club, and I like to run.
Okay. Well, good to see you back and good to have you for the first time. We're going to start with, as we just said, the Chris Rock and Will Smith incident. What is your opinion on it?
Oh, I think it was extremely real. I don't think you could fake it.
Okay.
More. Okay. He resigned from the Oscars, so he's only won once, ever. So, he can't win again or be nominated for 10 years, which is, a big deal if you're an actor. And all of his projects got canceled. So all of his future projects, never gonna happen because Hollywood, hates him now. And I don't think he would ruin his career just to spike the Oscars ratings, which it's not even gonna do, because it spiked the ratings for 10 minutes and then it fell off again because he's not gonna slap Chris Rock again next year. And also, the program is rated TV 14, so I don't think it makes sense that they would allow him to curse like he did. And I think that it just makes the Academy look really bad, and I don't think that they would want to do that because no one came out of this situation looking good. I think Chris Rock looked really bad because he made the joke and it was insensitive. And I think Jada looked really bad, and Will Smith looked bad because he hit someone. And of course the Academy looked bad because they didn't escort him out or whatever, and a lot of people wanted them to do that.
Okay.
All right, the thing about that is you said the thing is Will Smith didn't know what the effects would be because all press is good press. He and Chris Rock would have both received the press they wanted. Also, it would have made the Oscars become more popular because it's actually drawn 16.6 million viewers, up from 58% from last year. And also, Chris Rock actually is getting more famous as, according to CNBC, his usual ticket prices were $46, but now they are $341. His shows are selling out at an astronomical rate, and they're 25 times daily sales for Rock shows. Wow. And back to Will Smith, they didn't know the effects that would have.
Yeah. I think that Will Smith is smart enough to know that slapping someone on stage in front of live cameras and cursing him out is not going to look good for anyone. He's not that self-absorbed.
Well, I think one of the reasons he did that was actually to take the focus off of Gina's boyfriend, because they actually came out in 2020 how Jada admits she had an affair with August Alsina, and that was the cover story for them for the past couple years. So now with him stepping up for his wife, it shows that he wants his wife. This is a new cover story. It shows that he's defending his family, as he said in his speech, and now in the news you hardly hear about the affair they had.
But if that was the plan, then why would Jada come out later and say that she didn't want him to go up there and she didn't need defending? Because she did that. She came out to the press and said that she wasn't a damsel in need of defending.
Well, maybe, again, Chris Rock didn't know that. In the moment, he just thought he wanted to take the attention off of her affair, and that's what she chose, but he didn't like that. Also, if I'd like to draw to another point, I don't understand why Will Smith would get that defensive about it, because Jada has said on multiple social media platforms that she's at peace with it, she's embracing it, it's her friend, and she only has one bald spot. So I don't know why Will Smith would be so eager to defend her if it really wasn't that bad and she's actually not so troubled by it.
I think that maybe it's more Will Smith than it is Jada, because there's a previous incident in 2012 on the Men in Black 3 premiere red carpet, and I think it was a different country. He ended up slapping a reporter who tried to kiss him, which is out of line. But there are lots of different ways you can resolve that kind of situation, and there were a lot of people who were mad at him then. And I think that definitely kind of shows that maybe he sees violence as a way of resolving issues, and maybe that's just his first instinct.
Yes, but that was in 2012, so that was 10 years ago. So I feel like he could have gotten over those anger issues. But because of that event, now kind of the world knows that he's prone to do that. So it would have been a perfect setup for him to pretend to slap someone to gain that attention. Mm-hmm. Also, looking at Chris Rock, he expects it. Looking at his body posture. He has eye contact with Will Smith. He braces for contact. His neck is tucked forward. He's leaning in, and there's no attempt to block him. Also, I'd like to add that Will Smith is big. He's a good 6 inches taller than Chris Rock. I mean, in I Am Legend, Men in Black, Independence Day, like, he killed an alien. He's killed zombies. Like, he's definitely had to gain muscles for all these positions, while Chris Rock really is just an actor. So, as you can see in the video, Chris Rock hardly backs up at all. I feel like that kind of slap would have maybe even knocked him out, but it didn't.
I think Chris Rock is not an actor, he's a comedian, because he could not have pulled off a dramatic performance like this, because you see him in dramatic performances in TV shows like Fargo. I think it's the 4th season, where he has this like long monologue and it's terrible. And he breaks character, and you can tell that he's not a good dramatic performer.
Well, he's still an actor, and he has been on stage multiple times, so he would know how to deal with that situation.
Yeah.
Also, it's interesting because he didn't sue Will Smith. Will Smith is obviously more well-known and richer. He could have sued Will Smith for millions of dollars, but he didn't. And even today, he's declined to really comment on that issue, and he says it's no big deal. Chris Rock and me were friends, and I feel like he wouldn't have done that if he publicly slapped him and embarrassed him that way. Mm-hmm.
So what would you say about the laugh specifically? Because you can see him grin and start to laugh as he sees the incident going on. So
right after the slap happens, or not the slap, the joke happens, Will Smith is laughing, right? And then he turns to his wife, and she has the look, according to Will Smith. And then he goes up there and he hits him, right? And so lots of people have thought that maybe he didn't understand the joke, which would kind of contradict that it was all planned out. Because if it was all planned out, you would think that he would hear the joke and immediately get up and be angry. But instead, there's kind of like this brief pause. And then Chris Rock was like, oh, he's coming up here.
Well, after the slap also, you can see him turning away from Chris Rock, and he's also smiling during that. So why would he smile when he's that angry? It just doesn't make sense. I feel like he would be even more angry, or he'd talk to him up there, or possibly even punch him instead of just slap him.
I mean, he's made his point. He's defended his family, right? That was in his speech. I think that he probably saw his slapping Chris Rock on stage live in front of millions of people, is humiliation, and that's enough.
Yeah, but by slapping him live, he still did gain that attention the Oscars wanted.
Yeah, for sure. Let's go to TigerClash's reporter, Savannah Worley, to see what Arlington had to say about the Will Smith incident.
Thanks, Jake. I went around Arlington Hyatt campus to see what everyone thought about the big Oscar incident.
I think it's fake. It's pretty obvious. No one watches the Grammys anymore. They just want people to watch them.
I think it's fake.
Why?
Because they needed more views.
I think it's real.
Why?
I just do.
I think it's fake because the Grammys haven't been watched in years. No one really cares about Hollywood anymore, so they needed an attention grabber to get people to start watching the show.
I think it's fake because at the beginning he started laughing, and then his wife gave him the look, and then he went up there and slapped him. And when he got slapped, he put his hands behind his back and kind of braced for it.
I think it's real because the reactions were very genuine. I think it's real because if you saw when he, at the end, he looked very depressed, and depression is real.
I think it's fake because he laughed at first, so I definitely think it was staged.
I think it is real because he started cussing on like live television, and they had to like mute the whole thing, and like Chris Rock's face was just like, I didn't believe that just happened. So I don't think it's real. I don't think it's fake.
I think it's fake.
Why?
Because she's been getting with another dude for a few years and he chooses to care about a G.I. Jane joke.
I think that it's fake because they need the views, so they have to do something to attention grab so people will start watching the Grammys again.
I think it was real because Will Smith got very mad and made a big deal out of it.
Some of these points were extremely accurate. The Oscar night incident seems to still remain a mystery if it was planned or not.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of students had really good opinions on that. And moving on to the next opinion, we're going to be talking about Harry Potter. Now, Kate, in your opinion, is Harry Potter the chosen one or is Neville the chosen one?
I believe Neville is the chosen
Neville, sorry,
one.
my bad.
Because according to Professor Trelawney's prophecy, Neville fulfills all the requirements in that prophecy, and he defied Voldemort. He was born as a 7th month, died. He has power the Dark Lord knows not, and he also was marked as Voldemort's equal.
Okay. What about you, Mel?
I think that Harry is definitely the chosen one. A, because J.K. Rowling says so. She wrote the books. And because by Voldemort going to Harry's house and killing his parents, he decided who was the chosen one. He chose Harry, hence the chosen. And I think that, because Harry was the one to kind of get rid of Voldemort for good. And I think that's fulfills the prophecy.
Well, Neville, he actually killed Nagini, which was the last Horcrux of Voldemort, and then Harry Potter, he did the disarm spell, furthering weakening Voldemort, which eventually did kill him. But in The Cursed Child, actually, which is a sequel to Harry Potter, they go back in time, and Neville actually dies, and because of that, Voldemort is able to live. So that shows that without Neville, Voldemort would have lived.
But I don't think Nagini is exactly Voldemort because she was a person before she was the snake, right? So she had her own independent thoughts and actions, right? And then she had this disease thing and she became a snake or whatever. And then she became Voldemort's Horcrux.
How does this have to do with
I think that,
Neville not killing her?
I think that, he killed her, right? But I don't think that she was Voldemort. She wasn't the big bad. I think Harry did the number on Voldemort that really ended it.
Yes, but without killing her, then Voldemort would have lived. Also, I think one of the most contentions about this is that technically Voldemort did mark Harry Potter as his equal, but that was only because he did not hear the last part of the prophecy, which is that his foe would be the one to be marked as his equal. But if Voldemort did hear the last part of the prophecy, then he would realize that Neville is actually a pureblood, which is not equal to Voldemort. He's a half-blood. So that would have worked. So then he would have chosen Neville instead, knowing that he wouldn't be his equal. Also, Harry has that love from his mother, which is, again, not like Voldemort, so it can't be his equal. And in the last scene, one of the last scenes of Harry Potter, Voldemort tells Neville that he would make a great Death Eater, and while that is not equal to Voldemort, it shows that he prides him as being one of his followers.
I think Harry becomes so powerful throughout the series. It starts and he doesn't even know he's a wizard, and by the end, he's able to disarm Voldemort, which no one else has really been able to do. I think that shows that he is his equal and that he is powerful enough.
Well, Neville also becomes super powerful throughout the books too, even though he wasn't given the Dark Lord's powers, because without Voldemort cursing Harry Potter, he would have never even gained those powers, like to be able to speak to snakes. Unlike Neville, he didn't gain those powers, but he still was able to gain the courage to pull the Gryffindor sword out of the hat, and throughout countless times throughout the books, he's been able to help Harry Potter through herbology. And he was the leading person of the Dumbledore's army after Harry left, showing that he has that power that Voldemort didn't know he had, like courage.
I think the fact that it's a prophecy, right? So it's if you have a prophecy, that kind of suggests that fate is foretold. So I think that the fact that Voldemort did choose Harry, it plays into the prophecy too much to say that Neville also fits everything in the prophecy.
Well, the question is, could Neville have been the chosen one? And in the Department of Mysteries, actually next to the prophecy, there's a question mark showing that they don't entirely know the future. So it could have been Neville or Harry Potter.
I think that it could have been Neville, but by Voldemort going to Harry's house, it became Harry.
Yeah, but yeah, that is seen. Like, we obviously know it is Harry because that's who Voldemort chose, but we are seeing if he could have been, and if Voldemort knew the full prophecy, then that could have been the case, that Neville would have been chosen if Voldemort knew the full prophecy.
But he didn't know the full prophecy, so we'll never know.
Yeah.
So you're saying Harry was the chosen one, but Neville would have been if he would have, or if Voldemort would have known. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So there's this prophecy that Trelawney gave that Voldemort would mark his equal, and that's the chosen one. So he specifically chose Harry as his equal. Well, he didn't know that. All he knew is that Harry Potter was a half-blood, and that's like Voldemort. But if he knew the prophecy, then he would know that Neville is a pure blood, which is not like him. So he wouldn't want to choose his equal because that would have, not gone towards the prophecy.
And you said Rowling said that Harry was the chosen one. Do you have like a quote on that, or where did she say that?
I mean, she wrote the books, and in the books it says he's the chosen one. So.
But we already know Harry Potter is the chosen one. What we're debating is if he could have been the chosen one. So do you have a quote on if Rowling said that maybe Neville could have been the chosen one?
She's added a lot to the books after they've been published, so she's probably said it at some point.
Kind of like the cursed child. Like again, I said how they go back in time and Neville is killed, and if he wasn't, then since he was, Voldemort was able to gain control, and Harry Potter never defeated him. So that shows how important Neville was in defeating Voldemort, and that's what the prophecy said.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, all right, we're going to take a short break. Let's take a peek at ATV's magazine show. This is Arlington.
I think it's time we blow this scene. Get everybody in the stuff together. Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
Welcome back to TigerClash. The Twilight Saga is one of the most popular franchises of all time. Are you Team Jacob or Team Edward? I want to start, for the people who don't know, tell us a little bit about what Twilight is and what this debate is really about.
Twilight is Bella Swan. She's average, every girl. She moves to Forks, and she falls in love with a vampire, right? And then there's a love triangle between her and this guy named Jacob. Edward is the vampire.
Okay, so what is your opinion on this?
100% Team Jacob.
Okay, why?
Because he's a human, so, she can actually live out her life. She doesn't have to give up everything she's ever known, her mom, her dad, her friends. She can, he's not a vampire like Edward, because she has to become a vampire by the end of the series, so she can't go in the sun, she sparkles. She doesn't have to deal with the creepy vampire council who dictate everything that ever happens. And she wouldn't have had to gone through the horrible childbirth that she went through. She wouldn't have had to die. Yeah, there's a lot of reasons.
Okay.
All right, I am Team Edward, and even though you gave all those reasons, Bella willingly chose it because she said even in the first Twilight book that she is unconditionally in love with him. So she, from the very beginning, she was in love with him. I mean, she's known Jacob for years, but she still goes with Edward even though she's known him for really only a couple months. Also, I believe she should be with him because I'm just going to put this out there, are willing to commit suicide for each other, like Romeo and Juliet, which is really like the best love story of all time. Also, Jacob's personality is not so great as on multiple occasions, he's been aggressive and jealous, while Edward, he lets Bella choose what she wants.
Yeah, but Edward completely abandoned Bella. Like during New Moon, he left her for like almost a year, right? Like she completely watched her whole life happen around her outside of her bedroom window. And you mentioned Romeo and Juliet. They are not a super great idea for the perfect love story. They both died. And I think it's toxic to, think, oh, I love you so much, I'll kill myself for you. That's not great if that's the standard.
Well, they did die for love, and also you said Bella necessarily didn't watch her life go out by the window. She was able to be with Jacob, which helped her through the motorcycles, but the thing is she only helped build the motorcycle so she could feel that high to see Edward. Also, he is a werewolf, and even though he was helping her when Edward left her, I think he was also trying to deal with his own issues about becoming a werewolf. Also, the only reason Edward left Bella was because he wanted her to be safe, showing that he truly cares about her. I mean, Jacob becomes a werewolf, but he still tries to be by her a lot. After Edward's brother tried to attack Bella, then that's when he decided to get out because he could have killed her. So really, he was doing it for her safety.
I think that even if it was for her safety, I think there were still about a million different ways that he could have gone about it, and even just telling her. Right, because Jacob was there for her when Edward wasn't. They became such close friends, like you mentioned, building the motorcycles. And everyone loves friends to lovers, okay? It's everyone's favorite trope in movies, rom-coms.
Yeah, but again, maybe he only helped her with the motorcycles also because he wanted to have her there for him through his werewolf stage. Also, Jacob, he's not a great guy. I mean, he did plan to kill her daughter, which is never a good thing to have in your friend. I don't necessarily know what that is in a friend. Also, he threatens to kill himself to get her sympathy. And he also makes it clear that if she wants to be a vampire, then he'll start a war with her. And again, you say they're friends, but what does that show about friendship?
It never would have happened if she just chose Jacob in New Moon.
So you're saying that he has to threaten her to choose her?
No, I'm saying that Bella should have been smarter and should have chose Jacob in the beginning.
How would she be smart by choosing Jacob? Because she loved Edward more than anything, so you want her to go against
She had to give up her family. I mean, her mom, her stepdad, her dad, all of her friends who, granted, weren't the best. She wasn't that interested in them, but they were still her friends. I mean, real people who weren't born in the 1800s.
Well, she moved to she actually moved to Forks to be away from her mom and stepdad, and her dad still got to see her after she turned into a vampire and after she had her kid.
But she's gonna have to watch them all die. I mean, that's a horrible fate.
Well, again, that's what she chose. She loves Edward so much, which is also why she should be with him, because how much she loves him. So it just shows that she's willing to be with Edward over anything.
Well, does love come at a cost? Is the question. Is a true love, is a love that you're so committed to, is it worth the cost of losing your family?
Yeah, that's what she chose, so yes.
She dies at one point. She had to go through
life.
She went through the terrible pain of giving birth to the vampire human hybrid baby who looked really weird, and she had to die, and it was horrible. And Charlie had to watch her die. I mean, her dad.
But she didn't die. She
came back as a vampire who can't go in the sun, and it's terrible. I mean, it's not a super happy existence.
All right, so let's change the topic a little bit. Who is the more attractive person?
Jacob, 100%.
Okay, I'll just go with Edward because he just kind of has that gloom around him, but okay, it can be good. So he's still.
Is personality better than looks or
looks
no,
are,
you shouldn't choose
better.
your. Okay, so You're saying you'll sacrifice good looks for someone who assaults you.
Yeah.
Because, oh, really? Oh, okay. Because Jacob actually assaulted Bella when he forced her to kiss him when she didn't want it.
Yeah, that was an awkward moment.
Yeah.
But I think Jacob is better overall.
Why? Why?
Just because.
Why does looks over?
If Jacob wasn't attractive, would you say the same thing?
Probably not.
Yeah, so you're saying looks is better than personality, but you can't base everything off of looks. Like, Edward is there for her, he cares for her, he also lets her do what she wants, he lets her be with Jacob. Well, if she's even with Edward for a second, then Jacob kind of goes crazy.
I mean, but when you choose Edward, you're choosing Edward for the rest of eternity, right? You can't break up with Edward because you're a vampire now.
But now she's kind of bonded with him, so she knows
As a
that
vampire.
she loves him.
So what we've learned today is that looks trump everything, right? I mean,
Nope, she thinks looks trump everything.
For sure. But yeah, thank you to the debaters for being guests on our last show, and it was great to have each of you. If you haven't watched our last debate, go to ahstigerlife.com, where Nathan Newtalk and Andy Spann debated on who is the better superhero, Batman or Spider-Man. Thank you for watching Tiger Clash.